You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. So I've mentioned this in a few of my recent videos, but we are back in a very competitive seller's market. Despite the higher interest rates than a year ago, buyer demand is still high, but listed inventory remains low. What does that mean exactly? People want to buy homes, there just aren't enough people selling to satisfy most of those buyer wants. Think back to the great toilet paper shortage of 2020. We saw some positive signs in March, no doubt. Although inventory does remain low, we saw a 34% increase from February in new listings throughout central Indiana. So hopefully this will continue in April. Now, ironically, increasing inventory is actually a really good thing for both buyers and sellers. Although low inventory does help sellers sell their homes more easily and for higher prices, home sellers aren't selling normal goods and services. They are selling their homes. And in most cases, sellers are also looking to become buyers. So the low inventory has kept people from selling their homes because they are afraid they won't find another home to buy. Completely understandable, right? It's basically a self-enforcing cycle, but one that we can and we will and we are breaking free from. But for now, the seller's market remains, and buyers are competing pretty hard for a limited number of homes out there. So that famous line from Kenny Rogers, the gambler, has found itself kind of bouncing around in my head as I think about the current market and what it means for buyers. And considering the competition, if you are looking to buy a home right now, I think Kenny might have some pretty good advice for you. Now, in this market, there is no doubt that most buyers are going to need to move quickly when purchasing their new home. If a new home on the market is exactly what you've been looking for, I can almost assure you that it is also exactly what 20 or 30 other people have been looking for. If you wait, that house is going to be gone within a few days, almost guaranteed. But this creates some problems. Bidding wars. So you find the house of your dreams, but also the dreams of the Johnsons, the Browns, Mitchells, Smiths, Peñas. They all submit bids within 24 hours of each other. This is what happened a lot throughout 2020, 2021, and early 2022. This is what caused home prices to skyrocket. It's a core economic principle. High competition over scarce resources increases price. It's also a core psychological principle. They go together. Competition makes us want something more. Once we've made the decision that we really want something, we more or less make it ours in our head, even if we don't own it yet. And we will fight to win it. We will fight to keep it. And so it goes in the housing market over the past few years. But is this a good way to buy homes? I guess it can work for some, but others, it coerces them into what ends up being a really bad decision. This is where Kenny Rogers tells you to run. A lot of buyers and sellers don't realize that it isn't usually required that they accept any bid, even if that bid is for list price or above. Now, please do check with your listing contract if you have one. Some agents will require offers to be accepted or then pay agreed commission if at least one offer meets the listing criteria you agreed to. I do not require this. Anyway, so therefore, when multiple competitive bids come in, game on. When multiple competitive offers are submitted, usually one of two things happens. Now, the key word is usually. There are always unusual things that can happen. But number one, the sellers will respond individually to all offers until one is selected. In these competitive markets, it has become more common for buyers to submit what's called an escalation clause with their purchase offer. An escalation clause allows the offered purchase price to be increased or escalated in the event of multiple bids. This can improve a buyer's position in a multiple bid situation, but it will also indicate that the buyer is willing to pay more than they are offering, basically reducing their bargaining power. So these clauses should be used with extreme caution. Number two, another common occurrence, and maybe more common, is that sellers request a highest and best offer. This is a notification to all potential buyers that there have been multiple competitive offers, that all existing offers are currently rejected, and all interested parties should submit their very best offer, as good as they are willing to go.
It essentially means that there won't be any additional negotiation, really, but put in your best offer, and the seller will choose their favorite, and that's it. Now, I'll warn you, these can be stressful. You'll ask yourself over and over after it, did I bid enough? Did I bid too much? So, what makes the best offer in a competitive market? As with most things in real estate, it really depends on your particular situation, the seller's priorities, and what other offers look like. Now, here are a few things to consider though. It isn't always the highest purchase price. Although purchase price is certainly one of the most, if not the most important factor to most sellers, it isn't usually the only one. Some of the following considerations are also important. You can pay all cash or have a large down payment. This may not be possible for many buyers, but an all cash offer tells the seller that financing and appraisals won't be a problem, especially those appraisals. A large down payment also helps assure the seller that the buyer has the cash resources available in case the lender doesn't appraise the home at the purchase price. This is not uncommon in situations where a purchase price has increased because of bidding wars. You may buy your home for $400,000, but the bank is only willing to cover, say, $375,000. Therefore, can you cover the difference? Now, also ensure you are pre-approved for financing, at least for the price at which you are offering. Pre-approval gives confidence to the seller that your contract will not fall through due to financing issues. Better yet, you can maybe get a pre-underwritten approval on your loan. These types of approvals indicates that the bank is ready to approve your loan upon purchase. Again, it's a further assurance to the seller, but this type of approval might not be available to you in all cases. All right, so you would have to check with a lender. It's not always an option. Another thing you could do is offer a quick close date. This is a tactic where you might need to know a little bit about the seller's situation, which isn't always possible. A quick close date can be appealing to a seller because a short time frame between the acceptance of the offer and closing usually means that there's just less of a chance that something bad will happen to mess up the deal. But what if the sellers aren't in a hurry, or what if they want a little extra time to buy a new property for themselves? In this case, a quick close might scare them away from that offer. Now, here's some things what not to do. These are what not to do. Do not waive home inspections. First, yes, you will see this as a tactic designed to win competitive bids. And yes, it can work to help you win the bid, but I think it's a bad idea unless you are a real gambler. Cue Kenny. Know when to walk away, know when to run. Gambles can pay off, but they can also cause you to lose everything. There are plenty of stories from over the past few years of buyers exercising this option to win a home, only to discover their new home had foundation problems, bad roofs, rotting floorboards, unsafe electrical wiring, you name it. So unless you want to bet all of your money on red, I strongly recommend steering away from this option. Always get an inspection. I don't recommend writing a personal letter. Now, this used to be a common practice to win the hearts of sellers. It might sound something like this. I know this might not be your highest offer, but our names are Tom and Susie. Tom is a firefighter and Susie is a kindergarten teacher. We have one young daughter with some health needs, and this house will suit her perfectly. Although these letters cost nothing and have been known to work, they do present some legal challenges. Due to equal housing laws and several related cases making their way through the courts right now, it has become very inadvisable to try this particular tactic. Do not bid beyond your budget. Again, know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Sometimes it's just not meant to be. The house may be perfect, but if perfect doesn't fit your budget, perfect can quickly become a nightmare. You might have heard the term house poor. What this means is that you have the house of your dreams, but now you can't afford to furnish it, heat it, cool it, decorate it, landscape it, fix things that break, all that stuff. You can't go on vacation. You can't buy those new shoes you like. And you find yourself eating ramen noodles on the floor of your vacant dining room. Worse yet, you can't pay your mortgage payment and the bank forecloses on your home. Know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Now, I want to emphasize this. If you are thinking about buying in this market, don't let any of this scare you too much. As is always my goal, I believe in honesty and proper expectations, no matter how intimidating it might initially seem. But information is power. The key takeaway here is there are ways to write competitive offers. You won't win every one, and don't let anyone tell you that they know how. But there are things to do to give your competitive offer the very best opportunity to be selected. It's about knowing the situation, and a good real estate agent can help you with that. And guess what? At the end of the day, even in this market, there are always new houses. I've been there as a home buyer. I know the feeling of disappointment when you lose out. But that dream home, there's another one listing soon. I promise.